Okay, I'm making another movie, but I'm going to have the words from this video, which I will start right now, to be playing in the background.
Light is made out of particles.
And then
you can build up a whole mathematical theory of light traveling in little particles called photons, and you can do experiments.
Show you all of these pictures of light that seem to go right along with what he's talking about.
We've also got a whole mathematical theory built up showing that light travels as waves. And we've got experiments that will show
These are pictures I've been taking of light. Oh dear. Wouldn't you know? That's going to cut off and on.
As waves. As one physicist in the 1920s
Please don't do that again.
It looks as if the damn light is waiting to see how we're going to do the experiment and then deciding which way it's going to travel.
The measurement problem is this. An atom only appears in a particular place if you measure it. In other words, an atom is spread out all over the place until a conscious observer decides to look at it. So the act of measurement or observation creates the entire universe.
Only conscious beings can be observers, then we're intimately hooked in to the very existence of reality. Without us, there would just be this expanding superposition of possibilities with nothing definite ever actually happening.
The modified Copenhagen view is light is neither waves nor particles until we look, and then it adjusts itself depending on what we're looking at it with. An electron is not anywhere until we look, and when we look, the electron decides to be somewhere as long as we're looking. As soon as we stop looking, the electron is everywhere again.
This means that deeply enough, when you dive down into the nature of matter, everything we know about the everyday world dissolves. There are no objects anymore. There are only relationships.
I know it looks like a bottle, but it's really light.
Anymore. There's no time anymore. The more you look at something in detail, in what we think of as solid matter, the less and less solid it begins to look.
According to Zen Buddhism and most forms of Buddhism and quantum mechanics, any description of the universe which leaves you out is inaccurate, because any description of the universe is a description of the instrument that you use to take your reading of the universe. And if the only instrument you use is your own nervous system, you got to include your own nervous system in your description of the universe.
Well, how can this be? But what this tells us is that once matter is physically joined, even when it becomes separate, the energy is still there that's connecting it. And this is why it's important to me, because if we go back far enough in time, all the particles of matter of this entire universe that are expanding were all meshed together in a single particle about the size of a green pea, is what scientists tell us today, is what the computer models suggest. That if you could go into the universe today and take all the particles of matter and take out all the space in between and bring it together and compress it into the size of a single green pea, it means that you and me and every one of our listeners, we were all once part of that same particle that creates this whole universe today. And even though those particles are now separate and expanding, and studies show that they are, energetically we're all still linked.
Quantum physics has revealed what ancient masters knew. Matter does not exist. The concept of substance arose from the philosophy of Aristotle. And from that concept came science's conception of matter. The fact of the matter is that the substance of the universe is consciousness.
The only realities we know are the ones our brain manufactures. Our brain receives millions of signals every minute, and we organize them into holograms, which we project outside ourselves and call reality.
Okay, that wasn't a very long movie, was it? Unless it just stopped again. So often that happens. So I will talk, I guess, and show you a few more of these pictures of light. This one looks almost like a book, doesn't it? A light book. And I think this light is full of information, just like a book would be. only so much more information that we're not as yet able to read. But that light moves as waves and moves as particles and makes so many displays of color. Well, that's got to be evident from looking at these pictures of light. And these are just little momentary pictures of the light, because when I'm taking these pictures, the light is always in constant movement. When I click the camera to take the picture, it freezes it in just one part of its motion. But this light is constantly moving all around us. And these pictures are taken, most of them are inside of a living room with a light up on a tall shelf. And the light is kind of slanted where it sends its rays down over the room. But you have the room mostly dark, and you do this at night. And you use your digital camera and focus your camera. But here's the trick. You take a marble or something made of glass, or like a glass ashtray or a glass candle holder or vase, anything made of glass, or glass marbles. But with marbles, you're going to get round orbs. With the other ones, you're going to get some of these other shapes. And you will be amazed when you focus up on the shiny part of the marble, where the light is just gleaming in one special little part. Focus your camera lens on that one little shiny gleam, and there'll be lots of them. And you will get pictures like this. At least I do, and I do know of one or two others who are getting pictures like these. It's very interesting. Some people think it's just an illusion of some sort, something that light does, but to me it's more personal. It's very complicated to explain it, but it's like this light is talking, and it's showing me things. And I do know there are things in my camera that keep showing up in my pictures. Maybe some debris is stuck inside my camera. But where is all this color coming from? Is all this color just in the air all around in a dark room with just one light on? And what about all these little intricate designs inside the light? That can't be all just something marbles do, reflecting the light. If it is, we need to study marbles, put it that way. But I haven't gotten a lot of interest in these shown by anyone in the community of physics that would perhaps want to study this. It's more than just something a camera does, a digital camera. I mean, I do know there are some abnormal things that digital cameras can show because of the workings of the camera. But all of this cannot be attributed to just that. And it's amazing to see all the things that light does. But the reason I know it's not just my camera, and this is my biggest reason of all, well, it's my number one reason, is because without the aid of the camera, with just my naked eye, I see a lot of things in the light similar to what the camera picks up. But now the camera picks up some stuff I don't see. But then too, with my eyes, with the naked eye, I see things the camera can't pick up. So it works both ways. So I know that light is presenting itself. Maybe it always has, but maybe it's just a thing that's come about lately because we're entering a new age where light is going to be presenting to us itself in unusual and wonderful ways. I mean, already when I'm in the car and it's nighttime and we're passing cars with their headlights on, I see their headlight beam like a little rope over to the headlights of our car, the car that I'm in, and it kind of has a swag, this rope-like extension from their lights to the lights of the car that I'm in. And it's so unusual looking. And then the lights on the side of the road for different things, they send out their light like across, like beams of light come from all kinds of lights that you see in the communities and in the downtown. It's really interesting for me to drive, well, not so much to drive at night, but to have someone else driving so I can enjoy looking at the lights, because they're just spectacular. Just like these pictures are. I have so many pictures similar to these. Oh, maybe 2,000-3,000 by now. It's something you just can't quit doing. Once you've started taking orb pictures, you just want to take more and more, because it seems that there's an evolution going on in what I'm looking at, because I'm always seeing something new or something different, or something I had been seeing goes away and I don't see it anymore. So it's like the light that I'm looking at is evolving. And it's just very exciting. But I'm not a scientifically minded person, except that I do read a lot of books by Walter Russell. He was very scientific minded, and he believed a lot about the light that most people don't believe nowadays. But they need to read some of his words. Yeah, I have his book, The Secret of Light, and his Divine Iliad 1 and 2, that I have in my documents, my Google documents, which are very easily sent to anyone who wants to read those books. All I need is to know a person's email address, and I can send those books, and you can read all you want about light, because that is what God is. God is light. And the more we understand the light and become involved with the light, I think the better off we're going to be. This one's spectacular. I really love this picture. It looks like a lot of little seeds in this big eruption of light. Sometimes I take the focus in real close into the orb, and see on this one you see the roundness of the orb. But in some of the pictures that you see all colorful, I have gone really close up inside the orb to get that picture. It's amazing what these digital cameras can get. I love this picture right here. It's got so many beautiful colors in it. Light is such a great artist. And you don't know what light's going to do. It's like they were saying on that video I played. It's like light has a mind of its own. It decides where it wants to go, but I think it's like he said there, it's in unison with the one perceiving the light. So I think the light is in communication with us. It's not with words, so it's not a kind of communication that you could explain real well. It's something we're beginning to learn more about, and experience with it will be, I guess, what will teach us the language of light. Look at all the little orbs in this one. Looks like so many coins coming from a machine that you won the jackpot, and here comes all the quarters and dollars and all the things are coming out. But I already feel like a winner just getting these pictures. And they are so beautiful to me. Some of them are just out of this world beautiful. It's a form of art, actually. Look at this, how artistic this one is. And see, the little light orbs go through one another. They just pass right through. Sometimes they give their colors over to another orb, Sometimes they get a big dark spot in them, like because their color is falling out or exploding out, like this one right here. It's losing it at the top here. But that might not last but a nanosecond because it reforms and refashions. And see these like this with all the stringiness? This makes me believe that perhaps the theory of the string theory, that we're all connected by little tiny strings of light to one another, to everything else in the world, that could be true. And look at this orb. It was in nice rolls there, just rolls, and then suddenly up here on this side, it starts coming apart at the seams. And this orb is doing the twist. It's just twisting right in the middle. Oh, I came to the end. Okay, well, I'll just close and say to you that if you would like to comment on this, I would love to hear your comments and your thoughts about light. And if you want to learn how to take pictures of light like this, I do explain it in one of my videos that I have on my channel, how that you can go about taking these pictures yourself. And you will be amazed. All the color that's in the room, invisibly. And this is the part I like about it best of all. This light shows up when part of the room is dark. And it's kind of like we're the light, and the dark is what gives us our beauty. When the light is in other light, you can't see it. But when there's a mixture of light and dark, then the light can be very beautiful. But what would we do without the black? I love the color black. It's what makes everything stand out. And in human relationships, when we don't get along with someone, we need to think about how we need to harmonize our differences, because then we can make beautiful, beautiful music together. These look like symbols, don't they? And you see, all the orbs have these two eyes. They're always in a certain place on the orb, right about, not quite the middle and down on the lower right-hand side. It's like they're little individuals. I love this one here because it's so delicate looking, like lace or something. So I'm going to end on this note right here at this beautiful picture, and I hope to hear from some of you. And this is the Dove Lady, over and out.